This video is going to be part one of a three-part series where we go through detailing this new to me Camaro ZL1 1LE. So we're going to go, part one is going to be going over the interior, part two is the exterior, and then part three is going to be the engine compartment, tires, and all the other small little details. So when I picked up this car, I specifically asked the dealership not to prep the car because I'm very particular on how I like things done and what products I use on the car. And I especially don't want some kid using an 11-year-old rag going across my touch screen or across my paint. Don't want that to happen either. So here's what we're going to do today. First, we're going to vacuum the interior with a good shop vac. That you want to vacuum first to make sure that the contaminants from the inside don't go on the outside or go anywhere else. I have a good HEPA filter and a dust bag in the shop vac, but we still want to do that first. Second, we're going to clean the Alcantara, which is the suede-like interior, with a special cleaner called Sonax. Now I've used that in the past with great results. I'll go through the details on how to use that. Then third, we're going to use a damp rag and some very diluted simple green to clean all the hard surfaces in the car. Then fourth, we're going to use Meguiar's Ultimate Protectant on the plastic. And then we're going to use the Gold Class Leather Cleaner on all the leather in the car. That's going to give this car a like new or maybe even better than new interior, and then we'll move on to the exterior and the other parts of the car. So just an overview of the things that we'll be using today. We have some clean terry cloths. We have these chemical guys. They're premium microfiber applicators. They're a sponge with a terry cloth exterior. They're great. I love them for all kinds of things, interior, exterior, everything. The Sonax, very, very diluted simple green. Meguiar's Gold Class Leather Cleaner, and then Ultimate Protectant, and then some glass cleaner, and then yeah, something for me. So the vacuum is complete, but we've got some marks here that it's sunscreen or sweat or something that's on the passenger side. We've got a couple scuff marks that we'll address. It looks like whatever it is was white and creamy, so we'll pull these parts out. That insert actually comes out. I'll use a trim tool to pull that out, and we'll get that residue out of there. But this kick panel actually comes out pretty easily. It just pulls straight up. So let's show you how that happens. You just push straight up and it comes right out. We'll clean it up out of the car. So this is actually a pretty easy way to show you how Sonax works. So we're going to start with just a damp terry cloth, microfiber cloth, and we're going to just dampen the surface. You don't want to like saturate it because obviously this is your interior of your car. So we have water there. So we're going to put the damp terry cloth up. We're going to get a dry terry cloth. We're going to shake up the Sonax. And it's like a foam, so we're just gonna do a couple squirts there, and then we're just gonna work it in to the Alcantara, not with a lot of pressure, but enough. And we're gonna especially try to address that area where there was sunscreen or some other kind of contaminant, some white greasy substance here. So we're just gonna kind of work it in real kind of light, and then we're going to let it set for 5 to 10 minutes. We don't want it to dry on here, but we're going to let it do its magic. Then we're going to rinse it off with again with a damp terry cloth, and then we're going to dry it, and it should be as good as new. So it's been long enough for the Sonax to do its thing. So we actually have a bucket here where we can wash out our rag. We have a grit buster down at the bottom to make sure that we're not getting all the yucks back on our stuff. And we'll just, actually let me put it down, the camera down here. We'll just, again, kind of with moderate pressure and not a lot of moisture transfer, but we'll just kind of go back and forth and clean the Sonax out of the Alcantara. And the Sonax actually has a deodorizer as well, so it's great if you got some kind of funk going on. So it's slightly damp, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a dry microfiber. So we're just going to use moderate to heavy pressure with a dry terry cloth to get any of the cleaner out of the Alcantara and to kind of dry. And then you can kind of use a little bit of a rapid motion to get the texture back. But it looks like we've got everything off of here, and it smells great. So we've cleaned this piece, and we're going to do the rest of the car now. So we're going to do the same thing on the pieces that we can't remove. We're just going to use a damp microfiber cloth. We're just going to wet, just slightly dampen each Alcantara piece here, including the armrest, which typically has a lot of wear. We're going to do the inserts here, and the actual handle here. So we'll just let it get damp, and then we're going to go back with the Sonax just like we did that piece I just showed you. So shake it up. Just put 2 squirts on the terry cloth here, and then just try to keep it off the trim as much as you can. It's not that critical, but just try to keep it on the Alcantara. And you're not using a lot of force because you don't want to actually embed any of the dirt or contaminants. You're really trying to keep this kind of fluffy nature of the Alcantara. So you're just kind of skimming across with light to moderate pressure. So the Chemical Guys sponges, they do absorb quite a bit, and they kind of restore the same texture back to the Alcantara. So like I said, we're going to use a plastic trim tool. You can get these really cheap from someplace like Harbor Freight or Amazon. But we're just going to gently pry this plastic piece out. On my 2018, these pieces almost came out too easily. There we go. There we go. So we got whatever that nastiness is, we'll clean it up. We'll just make sure we don't get any water down in the door, because that goes straight into the door. So the Sonax is dried, and it's just basically restored back to the original texture. It smells great, it's clean. We did the seats, both just the Alcantara inserts. We did the kick panels. The steering wheel really needs a lot of work. So obviously there's a lot of oil from your hands and other things. So we gave that a pretty good dousing, and it's still a little wet. But this really, Sonax is almost magic. So we're going to take a damp rag, and we're going to spray some very, very highly diluted simple green. Just a couple sprays. And we're going to hit all the hard plastics, and that's going to allow us to then put our ultimate protectant down after it dries. We want to avoid getting on the Alcantara with the simple grain, obviously. And we'll wipe this down with a clean, damp cloth after we let it sit for just a second. If your rag is just barely damp, it's okay to go over the buttons and everything else. Do not go over your buttons with a saturated rag and get stuff down into the electronics. And you can do the silver and the black plastic. So the ultimate protectant is going to be for plastic, and it's going to have a similar application to the leather cleaner, although we're going to want to wipe off the excess after we wipe on the product. So just 2 or 3 sprays after shaking it up. You can see it kind of immediately restores some gloss and some black, although it's not overly glossy. So, and we do not want to get this on the Alcantara. So we'll fold the towel over and go very carefully around the edges. We'll also want to get it off the chrome. It's better to use too little than too much. You want to also make sure to get the speaker grill, but make sure that you don't have too much product on there, because if you get it in the holes, it is a real pain to get out. We'll then take a clean terry cloth and we'll wipe down the excess. And when we get better light in the morning, we'll just make sure we haven't missed any spots, but it looks really good. I mean, it's not glossy, not oily. We have good texture to the Alcantara. There are no more white spots, and we'll do this for the rest of the car. So you just want to do like 2 spritz of the leather cleaner, and then you just want to make sure you just get this on the leather. So with the Alcantara inserts, you just need to be very careful that you go around the edges. And then we're gonna follow up with a dry terry cloth and just make sure there's no excess product on the leather. So our door panels are looking great with both the plastic and the Alcantara. It's just beautiful. The Alcantara has not changed in texture at all, so the Sonax just maintains it. It doesn't mat it down. And then we've got a nice matte gloss on the door panels. I did not put anything on the dash because the dash is very smooth and I did not want to have any streaks. But the seats are totally clean, carpets are totally clean. It's like a brand new car. So with about 4 or 5 hours and the right products, you can make your car look brand spanking new on the inside. So I hope you learned something on the video. It does take some time. I spent 4 or 5 hours detailing the interior of this car, but it's well worth it, and you spend a lot of time inside your car, so you might as well have it be fabulous. So this is part 1 of a 3-part series, so please like and subscribe, put the notifications on, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.